The story goes as the title says, don't take anything from Summit Lake. I wish I listened to my wife when she said just leave it be. It's worn and probably has bed bugs, is what she said. Well, now she's gone missing, and I feel like I'm all to blame. This all started about 2 months ago in the beginning of August when I went to Metro Parks to hike on the Summit Lake Trail. I went with my wife to just get some fresh air. Everything was perfect, from the bright summer sun to our own live Nature Channel documentary, until about 15 minutes in when I discovered a pile of trash filled underneath the Kenmore bridges. Damn, they hate their neighborhood that much. I mean, look at this. I complained to Shauna. We both looked in disgust. There were broken bottles, toys, and even TVs. One thing in particular caught my interest, though. It was a chair that still appeared to be in good condition. Well, besides a few stains, I'd say this would be perfect for the living room. I kept trying to convince Shauna to go along. All she kept mentioning was all the negatives. It looks like it smells. It probably has bed bugs or some sort of man-eating virus. With a little more persuasion, she finally gave in to my request. I, of course, had to carry it the 15 minutes back, which was worth it in my mind at the time. When we got home, I immediately started scrubbing and deep cleaning the chair. To be fair, she was right. The thing was filthy, but I just couldn't let the opportunity pass me by. I took 2 hours off constant scrubbing and hosing down to get the thing clean, and did it look beautiful. The legs were made of wood and appeared handcrafted. The padding was soft but firm. As for the material used to cover the padding, it's a red linen embroidered with a gold trim. I sat the chair in the dining room corner next to the cabinet my wife keeps her teapots and cups in. After staring at my newly found treasure for 10 minutes, we sat down, had dinner, and then went to bed. The weekend went by fast but uneventful. However, when Monday came, that's when weird things started to happen. I was headed out the door when I realized my keys were missing. I searched in my usual spots with no luck, and even asked Shauna if she was playing a prank on me. Of course, she said no. I had to drive her car to work. Luckily, she was off Mondays. The work day went on as usual. I clocked in, headed to my floor, and did my job. I make pills for a living, ranging from medicine, supplements to hair loss treatments. All I have to do is press a button that pours the pill formula into the capsule. The contents were either liquid or powder. When 6:15 hit, I clocked out and headed home. I pulled in the driveway to find my keys laying on the ground next to the back porch. I brushed it off as me dropping them on my way to take the trash out the previous night. I went in the house, showed Shauna my keys, and went on about the rest of my day. That night for dinner, we had pizza from the Domino's a block away. We requested delivery, and I usually tip big. When the driver got to our house, I reached for my wallet in my back pocket and came up empty. I went in the house and searched all over the top and first floor to find nothing. I apologized to the driver for my failed attempt at giving him his deserved tip. He just smiled, said, "No problem," and went on his way. When I headed in the house with the pizza, there was my wallet sitting on the couch as if it were mocking me. After eating dinner in silence, we went to bed with nothing else to be said. The next morning, I woke up and got ready for work. When I was heading out the door, I noticed my work badge was missing. This made no sense because I always hang my badge up every time I come in. With me already being late, I decided to just have them buzz me in from security. When I got to work, my boss just told me to be careful next time, so it doesn't happen again. I politely obliged and went on about my work day. I got off at my usual 6:15 and headed home. As soon as I walked in the door, I saw my damn work badge hanging up on the key rack. This time, I was a bit irritated and accused Shauna of playing with me. She told me she hasn't been doing anything, with a sincere look on her face. I believed her at that moment, but there was still that small doubt in the back of my head. The rest of the week went on like usual with no missing objects until Friday night. I was headed downstairs to get a glass of water. Cliché, I know, but when I got downstairs, everything was silent besides the humming from the fridge. As soon as I walked in the kitchen, my feet were shocked by the icy chill from the floor. Someone had left the freezer door open. Must have been me, since I do tend to get up multiple times a night, sometimes even half asleep. I shut the door and poured my water. As I gulped down the refreshing beverage, the moon's light shined through my partially open blinds, giving the silent, dark room more of an eerie feel. My eyes panned to the right corner of the dining room where I had put the chair. When I saw that thing, I let out a scream so loud I'm sure the next-door neighbors could hear. Seconds later, Shauna was downstairs asking what happened. I explained the thing I saw sitting in the chair, and she just looked in pure fear. There was some old lady that looked like the crypt storyteller, is all I could describe. The lady vanished in the blink of an eye, and I just looked like a lunatic. We both just went to bed and slept in since we were off the next 2 days. The next day was Sunday. I got up at 5 a.m. and drove back to the lake to throw that damn chair back and afterwards get some fishing done. When I pulled up to the lake, no one was there. This made the walk towards the bridge a bit unnerving. I finally got under the bridge and saw the other trash in the same spot as before. The water was green and stagnant with algae scattered about. With one huge heave, I tossed the chair back in the lake. As I watched it sink to the bottom, I got my fishing line ready and started casting away. The sun had begun to raise over the lake, giving it a beautiful orange glow. I checked my clock and saw it was 7:57 a.m. This was my K to head home. When I pulled in the driveway, I had a smile on my face knowing my troubles were finally behind me. I ran in the house to give Shauna a hug. "Oh, someone must have finally caught a fish," she had said. I just laughed, until my laughter was slowly cut short when I saw that chair in the corner of our dining room. I screamed and pushed Shauna away, not meaning to harm her, but I was just frustrated and confused. She just stared at me with tears forming in her eyes. "Shauna, I'm sorry," is all I could say while she grabbed her keys and headed out the door. I stood there for 20 minutes in silence, and just went outside for a walk to clear my head. Nothing made any sense to me. How does a chair curse me with all of this bad luck? Who the hell was that hag in that chair last night? And most importantly, how the hell did it end up back in my house? I know for a fact I watched it sink into the summit. When I got back home, Shauna's car was in the driveway. I walked in and hugged her with an apology. She accepted my apology and all was well. That night we just watched movies and fell asleep on the couch. Before drifting to sleep, I kept glancing over to the chair. The moment my eyes shut, I swear, I saw that lady staring back at me from the dining room. Monday morning came and I drove to work without any mishaps. The shift went the way it should and I got off exactly at 6:15 as always. I got home, watched some TV, ate dinner and went to bed. Tuesday I woke up, drove to work and clocked in starting my job as usual. Today, however, was an unusually busy day. We had to ship out 6,000 more pill bottles than our regular goal. To my dismay, this caused me to get off at 8:30. When I walked out the building, the sun was already setting. By the time I pulled in my driveway, it was dark. The lights were off in the house as well, which is strange because Shauna's car was in the driveway. I walked in and it was silent. For some reason, this made me panic. Remembering all of the crap that happened to me in the past couple of weeks, I screamed Shauna's name with no answer. I ran through the house searching every room to still no luck. When I walked in our room for the third time, I heard Shauna scream my name. It sounded like it came from downstairs in the dining room. I rushed down to the dining room and saw that damn decrepit corpse of a woman sitting in the chair cackling like a witch. She then pointed her long mummified fingers to the mirror we have set up in the wall. My body froze when I looked inside. I didn't see my reflection like usual. This time I saw that bridge we walked on at Summit. However, that's not what shook me. There on the shore was Shauna clawing at the sand while being pulled in the water by something. She kicked and struggled with all the strength left in her body. I rushed over to the mirror trying to go in, however I couldn't. Shauna gave one last struggling fight before her head was submerged into the lake. The mirror suddenly went back to what it originally was. I was right back staring at my reflection. That lady kept cackling. This infuriated me, so I turned around and swung on her with my fists. Unfortunately, my fist just kept going through her. Her laugh was so loud at this point that I passed out from a throbbing migraine. The sun's rays went through the dining room's blinds, waking me up. I checked the time to see I was late for work. The previous night's event ran through my head as I got up. However, the chair in the dining room was missing. I called my job explaining why I couldn't come in. My lead supervisor approved of it, but had one question that shook me. Who is Shauna? He had asked. I just hung up the phone and rushed out the door. To my misfortune, Shauna's car wasn't in the driveway. I went to the police department downtown to put in the report. The woman at the desk looked puzzled. "I'm not seeing this Shauna you're talking about in any census report. Are you sure that's the right name?" My heart dropped to my stomach. Had my wife gone missing permanently? I got in my car and high-lined it to the lake. The bridge is where I need to be. I'll get answers there is all my mind could come up with. I ran on the trail to the bridge where we were several weeks ago. When I got there, I couldn't believe my eyes. There, right in the same spot I got it before, was that chair. Shauna's presence was nowhere to be found in. This caused me to jump in the lake and search. The spot we were in isn't that deep, maybe about 7 feet max, so getting to the bottom was no problem. I looked all around, but only saw algae, seaweed, fish, and more trash. My lungs were running out of oxygen, and I figured this was a waste of time, so I swam back to shore. My mind was numb. My wife has permanently went missing, and it's my fault. I drove home in tears, knowing there was nothing I could do. Several months have passed since then, and I'm still missing her dearly. Today I decided to go for a walk, but in the opposite direction of that bridge. When I pulled up and parked, there was a family of 4. A father, mother, son, and daughter, and in the dad's hands was that damn cursed chair. I tried to stop them, but he threw it in his trunk and pulled off. Before they left the lot, I heard an all-too-familiar cackle. I checked my rearview mirror to see that old decrepit woman along with my wife, staring at me with a wide smile.